Did you know that the firing squad is being used to carry out the death penalty in America? As in a group of people shooting guns at a person. I know it's kind of surprising and it's quite rare. In fact, there are only 5 states in the United States that are actually using the firing squad. Right now it's Idaho, Utah, Oklahoma, Mississippi, and my home state, South Carolina. In fact, there's a convicted murderer in South Carolina, Brad Sigmon, who's scheduled to be executed on March 7th. And he chose to die this way. So why would Sigmon choose to face down the barrels of multiple guns? I'll get to that in a minute. But first, let me paint a picture of what it looks like when a death row inmate chooses the firing squad. It may not be what you think. Let me show you. First, Sigmon's going to be sitting to the right side, so only the right side of his body is visible. The witnesses will be sitting in an adjacent viewing room, protected by bulletproof glass and heavy metal bars. The condemned inmate is facing a brick wall with openings for rifles. It may be different in various states, but here in South Carolina, the execution team is made up of volunteer prison employees, including the 3 sharpshooters. A hood is put over the head, and a target is put over the heart area. Each shooter is given 1 live bullet. Of course, I had to ask prison officials, what happens if they all miss? I was told there are provisions for that, but the information isn't publicly shared. So why go this way? Well, the other 2 options have their own problems.
We should have something that would be less torture, less painful, and would be immediate.
That's Dick Harpootlian. He was a state lawmaker who was leading the charge back in 2021 to get firing squad back in play here in South Carolina. And that's because the electric chair, the default method of execution here in South Carolina, notoriously dubbed Old Sparky, is 113 years old. It's thought to be like the oldest electric chair used in the world, and it's had issues.
We're not here to exact vengeance. We're not here to inflict pain. We're here to carry out the sentence, which is death. And it seems to me that that is the least barbaric way to do it.
Then there's lethal injection. Now, I was the state media witness at the last execution. It was Marion Bowman Jr., and he chose to die by lethal injection. But after hearing about his autopsy report, that's also a highly suspect way to go. According to this report, Bowman was given a double dose of the lethal drug, and by the time he was declared dead, 20 minutes later, his lungs were full of blood and fluid. The concern was whether he actually drowned. With all of the unknowns surrounding the lethal injection and this notorious electric chair, it may explain why Sigmon chose the firing squad. But as far as a stay of execution, anti-death penalty groups have fought long and hard to sway the courts, pointing to studies that the death penalty does not deter crime. And on top of that, over the past 50 years, nearly 200 people on death row were wrongly convicted in the first place and have since been exonerated. Yet the death penalty is still considered constitutional and is regularly upheld by the courts here in America. For Criminally Obsessed, I'm Anne Emerson.